My name is Erik Wilder. I'm from Michigan, and I have been a Teach Fellow with AICEE for almost a full year now. I'm working in bilingual classes here at Lishan Junior High School in Taipei City. Co-teaching, I found, is not one thing. It's a lot of different types of models. So in the PE classes, I can deliver some instruction, right? Because a lot of it's very action focused. So if I use some English, I can also mime it out. I can give an action for how they're supposed to do a particular task or something. And in other classes, I'm working more with small groups. And so I use English to ask them questions, to have them perhaps formulate their ideas a bit more clearly. So I think there are lots of different styles of co-teaching. And if you, future AICEE Teach Fellow, come here to Taiwan, you'll probably find that to be the same. Testing is my answer. Testing is just so heavily emphasized here. And sometimes it can be frustrating because classes tend to teach to those tests because they're so important. And so when you want to emphasize communication in English and talking with students and learning more about their perspectives, a lot of times that gets a little bit pushed to the side because they really have to prepare for these very important tests. The support here has been very, very good. For our teaching development, we have professional development meetings before the start of the semester, the start of the school year, and we also regularly check in with our colleagues, with the members at AICEE to discuss teaching strategies, or if we have any issues, talking with our colleagues about how we might resolve them. Now, if we have issues with our schools, AICEE is a very good advocate for describing what we expect or what issues we're having in a way that feels very tactful and very respectful of the school while also being respectful of our needs. I think my first impression, though, was when I first arrived in Taiwan with no apartment, with nowhere to stay, and AICEE actually had someone assist me in finding an apartment. So I think moved in the first week I got here. Yeah, very, very helpful. I participate in a lot of different types of activities here at the school. For example, physical education. We do different types of sports. Sometimes I'll practice with the students or cheer them on or give them guidance. We also have some extracurricular activities that I also participate in. One thing we do every week is ICRT. I think it's an English language learning news station based here in Taipei. So every Wednesday, I write a script for myself and two other local co-teachers about one of those particular news topics. And we have a short discussion, and then we hear the news broadcast. And students can participate in different activities like answering questions, or sometimes we create posters, for example, related to the topic with vocabulary, with different sorts of pictures and questions. And students are free to use English or Chinese to answer those questions. It doesn't have to be one or the other. Another activity, and I think this is my personal favorite, is our lunchtime story hour, which I collaborate with the librarian on. This week, we're continuing our story on Jane Goodall. We put together a presentation with vocabulary, with simple questions for students based on, things they might find interesting or what they might find relevant to their own lives out of the presentation. I feel like it's a very relaxed atmosphere and it's a fun activity. I think that sort of in my day-to-day life, the biggest shock is probably just how crowded it is here. There's a lot of traffic and people drive a little bit chaotically. So they're not only sort of regular-sized cars that you see everywhere in America, but a lot of people also have their own personal motor scooter, and those just kind of dart in and out of traffic. And I think it's a little bit hard to get adjusted to at first, because the sort of pedestrian areas, the sidewalks, are not always entirely separated from the road. So I think for me, it just makes everything feel a bit more chaotic and stressful than it otherwise might be. I think that open-mindedness is really the one thing you need to survive here. It's quite different from being in the United States. I think that the standard of living is pretty similar, but the actual sort of day-to-day lifestyle is quite different. If you don't come with an open mind, you'll probably find yourself very, very stressed out by just all of the differences. I will say though, that lots of people have come to Taiwan and managed to adjust quite well after, a reasonable period of time. So if you do come here and you find yourself struggling, just know that you're not the only person who has felt that way, and other people who have felt that way have been quite successful here. One other recommendation that I do have is, if you don't know any Chinese, I think maybe taking classes is something that I would recommend. It can help you sort of communicate with the locals a little bit better. It might help you build some friendships. So, and lots of AICEE fellows take Chinese classes, so you can just find somebody's personal recommendation.